Hello students. So our next topic is on sustainable management of natural resources. That is management of natural resources. So before entering into our topic, let me clarify something to you. Living in harmony with nature is not new to us, especially to Indians. It's not at all new. Living in harmony with nature. So living with nature is not at all new to Indians. Sustainable living has always been an integral part of India's tradition and culture. It has been integrated with our long-lasting traditions and practices, customs, art and crafts, festivals, food, beliefs, rituals and folklore. Ingrained within us is a philosophy that entire natural world be in harmony, which is reflected in the famous phrase in Sanskrit, that is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Have you heard Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam? So that means the entire earth is one family. So entire earth is of one family only. The phrase is mentioned in Maha Upanishad, that is probably a part of the ancient Indian text, that is Atharva Veda. So this indicating that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the word or the phrase if you see, which is taken from the Maha Upanishad, one of the Maha Upanishad, that is Atharva Veda, indicating that we Indians used to live with nature and the entire natural world be in harmony. And the entire earth is one family only. Means all the living beings are having equal right to live and they all are equal to human. Okay, all living beings are having equal right to live and we also should live along with the creatures. Then only we can achieve sustainable management in nature. Okay. So this topic, sustainable management of natural resources, will deal with some of the natural resources and how we should manage them, how optimally we should manage them. About that we'll study. So before starting the topic, we should know what is meant by natural resources. Natural resources and how to manage them, anyhow we'll study in the further classes. Okay, what is meant by natural resources? So natural resource is what people can use which comes from the natural environment. So they are available naturally. Definitely they come from the natural environment and they are available naturally. So what are the examples for natural resources? What are the examples for natural resources? Yeah, definitely like air, water, wood, oil, wind, natural gas, iron, coal, petroleum, iron ores. These all comes under natural resources only. Okay, but among them some of the natural resources like coal, petroleum, iron ores, definitely they need some work to make them into usable refined oils and steel. As a raw material we can't use them directly, but we'll convert them with the help of some human activities. We convert them into usable refined oils and steel. Into the usable forms we can convert them, right? But they also natural resources and these are available naturally. Okay, so we learnt in our class 9th about some natural resources like soil, air and water and how various components are cycled, right? Some of the natural resources like soil, air, water we have studied in our 9th class, and about their cyclic process also, how they are again entering into the environment also we studied. Like carbon dioxide cycle, oxygen cycle we studied, even water cycle also we studied. And the nutrients like nitrogen, how again it is replenishing into the soil also we studied, right? So this happens over and over again in nature. It's a continuous process. So what new we'll study in this chapter? So in this chapter we shall look at some of our resources and how we are using them. Maybe we should also think about how we ought to be using our resources so as to sustain the resources and conserve our environment. So how well we have to utilize them, then how can we sustain the resources and conserve our environment also we should learn in this chapter. We shall be looking at our natural resources like forest, wildlife, water, coal and petroleum, and see what are the issues at stake in deciding how these resources are to be managed for sustainable development. So in this topic, in this chapter, we'll study about some of the natural resources like forest, wildlife. Okay, what are the natural resources we'll study? About forest, wildlife, water, and coal and petroleum. About these natural resources we'll study. Along with that, how sustainably we should manage them for better environment. How well we can manage them, how well we can utilize them for better environment we'll study in this chapter. Okay, and we often heard or read about some of the environmental problems, right? Many environmental problems. Even recent issue, if you see, corona is also a sort of environmental problem when human is not maintaining harmony with the environment, then there's a chances of spreading of such viruses. At the same time, another recent issue like locust group started migrating, right, which is feeding on the crop fields. So that is also one of the environmental issue because of the global warming. Temperatures are changed and the environmental like some of the areas temperatures are changed or temperatures are fluctuated, and long lasting monsoon given some extra support for the migration of the locust group. So that is also comes under environmental problem. Many environmental problems we heard, and those two, corona one and the migrating locusts, are the recent issues, right? And these are often global level problems and we feel helpless to make any changes, right? Definitely we feel what we can do about these issues. And some of the issues, previous class we have studied about ozone layer depletion, okay, garbage disposal. These also, to be frank, these also global issues, but we feel we are helpless because no one will stop using ACs, no one will stop using refrigerators, right? So definitely we feel that what we can do, but there are international laws and regulations, and then there are our own national laws and acts for environmental protection. So definitely government should involve during these situations. Not only this situation, they have to predict the situations, not after coming the situation. Before facing the situation only, government should realize what will be the future, and the government should predict the situations and should form some of the national laws and environmental protection acts. And these are also national and international organizations working towards protecting our environment. In forming of this type of national laws and environmental protecting acts, definitely some of the national and international organizations are involving in that. So what are such type of organizations? If you see, UNEP, United Nations Environment Program, and UNO, even GEF, Global Environmental Facility. These are some of the examples which are working for the national laws and formation of acts for environmental protection. Okay, then we can consider one of the environmental issue which we Indians are facing is water pollution, especially river Ganges water is getting polluted, right? Ganges river is getting polluted. So Ganges is the largest river in India and serves nearly 40% of Indian population. So awareness about the problems caused by unthinkingly exploiting our resources has been a fairly recent phenomena in our society. And this awareness rises when some action is usually taken. Okay? And this is one of the national issue. What we are facing is Ganga water pollution. Ganga water pollution. So what is this and what we should do to protect our Ganga? Right? You must have heard about the Ganga Action Plan. This multi-crore project came about in 1985 because the quality of the water in Ganga was very poor. And coliform is a group of bacteria found in human intestine whose presence in water indicates contamination by disease causing microorganisms. Okay, the presence of coliform indicating contamination by disease causing microorganisms. So let us see what is this issue. So definitely Ganges is the largest river in India and serves nearly 40% of Indian population. Suppose you see this Ganges river, it's located, this Ganga river, almost from Gangotri till the Diamond Harbour area, it is there, even Haridwar. So major cities which are located in its travel, if you see Haridwar, Kanpur, Allahabad, Varanasi, Patna, Kolkata. So these are the major cities which are located in its travel. Okay, so because of the Ganga river, these cities are developed, and this light blue color area is indicating Ganga river basin in India. Ganga river basin in India. Okay. Remember, Ganga runs its course of over 2,500 kilometers from Gangotri in Himalayas to Ganga Sagar in the Bay of Bengal. Okay, it starts from Gangotri till Ganga Sagar, which is located at the Bay of Bengal. Okay, this holy river, this sacred river is getting polluted. Even this is this much holy to us and serving many benefits to nearly 40% of Indian population, but this is getting polluted because of some of the human activities, like when we are dumping municipal and industrial waste without treating them into the Ganga river. And most of the Indians do cremations, okay, burning of the dead body near the Ganga river. They do cremation near the Ganga river, and they mix or the ashes of the dead bodies also can be mixed with the Ganga river. So in the cremation process they do that one, in the death ceremony process they do that one. Okay, during the time also when the dead bodies are not burned completely, right, some of the microbes can enter into the Ganga river. At the same time, when the flesh is not burnt completely, it starts rotting and it spoils the Ganga river. Along with that, human waste is nothing but excreta. Human excreta, the fecal material, can enter into the Ganga river and it is spoiling the Ganga water. Okay, like this, Ganga water is getting polluted because of municipal industrial waste and dead body cremation, human waste, etc. make the Ganges polluted. Okay, so the polluted Ganga water, if consumed, would lead to the spread of waterborne diseases like cholera. Definitely, whenever we consume any polluted water, definitely we suffer with some of the waterborne diseases like cholera, diarrhea, typhoid, okay, hepatitis. This type of diseases can spread because of the polluted water consumption, especially Ganga water. So the 40% population may suffer with these diseases. Not only on human directly, even polluted water is affecting the ecosystem of the rivers also. Ecosystems of the river means aquatic organisms whatever living in that area also getting disturbed. And remember, this type of condition again affect human health, because whenever we consume this type of aquatic organisms like fish or crabs or prawn, whatever aquatic animals we consume, then that leads to biological magnification, means these harmful pollutants definitely can enter into our body, right? So along with this disturbing of ecosystem, even when we consume polluted or like contaminated aquatic organisms, we can also suffer with the diseases. Okay, so what we can do to clean Ganga? So Ganga on its way to cleanliness, Ganga on its way to cleanliness in Ganga Action Plan, through the process known as Ganga Action Plan. So for addressing this issue, Ganga Action Plan was launched by Rajiv Gandhi in April 1985. So actually it is started or launched this program by Rajiv Gandhi in April 1985. And remember, the quality of water over time was addressed by the coliform test. So how can we measure the quality of water? Definitely we can measure this quality of water with the help of coliform bacteria presence. And have you remembered, coliform bacteria is nothing but it is a harmless bacteria which is present in human intestine. It is a harmless bacteria which is present in the human intestine. So here you will get doubt, when coliform is harmless bacteria, then why should we take it as a measure to test the quality of the river water? Definitely we can take it as a test, because even coliform is not harmful directly. The coliform which should present in human intestine entered into river Ganga, means it indicating that maybe there is a pollution caused by human excreta, because through human excreta the bacteria which should present in human intestine can enter into river Ganga. At the same time, when they mixed or they cremated unburned corpses of dead bodies, that time also these bacteria can enter into the river Ganga. So when the dead bodies are not completely burnt and they are mixed in the or they cremated near the river Ganga water, during the time also coliform can enter into the river Ganga. Remember, even coliform is not harmful. When these unburned dead bodies are mixed in river Ganga, then that definitely spoils the river Ganga ecosystem. At the same time, human excreta consist many other type of harmful bacteria, so they also may mixed along with coliform bacteria. So coliform presence can be taken as a measure to indicate the quality of river Ganga. Presence of coliform in water determines the water quality. Higher the coliform means lower the water quality. Another measure we can consider, that is the pH. Okay, pH levels of the water indicates maybe the water is acidic or alkalic in nature. Sorry, this spelling once you check, acidic or alkalic. Acidic or alkalic in nature can be indicated with the help of pH indication. Suppose many industrial effluents or agricultural effluents or municipal waste, anything is enter into the nearby water body. Suppose the pH is indicating it's acidic in nature. Okay, it's acidic in nature, then definitely it is getting polluted because of some of the effluent entry. Without treating these effluents, they are mixed with the water. At the same time, sometimes the pH indicates that water is alkalic, too much alkalic in nature. So that is also indicating that entry or submerging of the effluents without treating them. Okay, so with these two measures we can check the quality of the water. They are coliform bacteria, presence of coliform bacteria and pH level indication. With those two we can measure water quality. Okay, so coming to coliform is a closely related harmless bacteria present in human intestine. Presence of coliform in water determines the water quality. Higher the coliform means lower the water quality, and you can check this picture. So what is the coliform structure? Okay, this is the water check bacteria water test kit. So coliform, especially coliform bacteria water test kit, they can use, especially people who stay near the Ganga water, they use this kits. Then some of the researchers also use this one, and this is a coliform bacteria presence in the Ganga river. So coliform test is one of the key monitoring components in Ganga action plan. Okay, whether that is reducing, coliform levels are reducing or increasing the levels, in which district or which area, which city particularly coliform levels are more, whether they are reducing or not, means the people are following the rules and regulations provided by the local governments or not, has to be checked by measuring the coliform presence in the Ganga water. So this is the one of the key monitoring components in Ganga action plan. Coming to this coliform bacteria, these are the measures. So bacterial count is indicated with red color bars, you can check. Okay, and these are the names of the cities: Varanasi, Kanpur and Rishikesh. If you see, check this one, 5,000 ppm, 10,000, 15,000, 20, 25, 30,000 bacterial counts are given. Some million values these are. In some millions they are there in like some 100 ml of water, like the measurements they'll take. Rishikesh case, if you see, it's limited to just it crossed 5,000. Kanpur, it's crossed 20,000, and Varanasi almost it crossed 30,000. Okay, so that safe limits, whether that area is good for bathing or drinking, that water is good for bathing or drinking, limits also given by the India Central Pollution Control Board. Okay, like this the measurements can be taken, especially by measuring the coliform levels in the water. So coliform is one of the key monitoring components in the Ganga action plan. So in your textbook, one graphical representation is given. Once go through that, which is given in 267 page number, total coliform count levels in Ganga. Better you go through that. Okay, in 2007 rating and 2011 rating, the comparisons are given. So whenever the local government follows the rules and regulations strictly, definitely the particular city shows comparatively from 2007 to 2011 less levels or lowers the levels of coliform. When the city, the particular city is not following the rules and regulations, definitely that one also showing increasing levels from 2007 to 2011 in the coliform levels. Okay, once go through that one. So let's understand what the plan aims for. So what is that Ganga action plan major aims? Okay, we'll see what are the major aims of this Ganga action plan. So main intention is conversion of wastes generated to some kind of energy resources, which makes it a win-win situation. Have you understood this? It's nothing but instead of throwing or releasing or disposing all the untreated waste into the Ganga water, different disposal methods has to be followed to convert that waste into energy releasing process, which is a win-win situation, because both, when Ganga water, the particular ecosystem gets benefited because treated sewage we send into that. At the same time, like energy production also can be done. Suppose some of the biodegradable waste directly entering or releasing into the Ganga water, we can convert that into compost, or else we can produce biogas from it. Okay. At the same time, non-biodegradable waste like dry waste we can burn to release some energy. Heat energy can generate some electric energy. That is incineration method. Okay. So even wax also can be produced from some of the industrial sewage. Okay. So such type of method should be followed, which is energy from the waste. That is nothing but energy from the waste. We have to get some of the energies from the waste. It's nothing but like composting, biogas production, heat energy we can produce. Okay, so such type of energies we can produce from the waste. At the same time, we should create some awareness to the local people. Suppose you see here, the local people, when they get the awareness or given the awareness program to them, then the local people themselves involved in cleaning their particular locality or else the nearby Ganga area. So encourage community participation for a common cause, that is cleaner Ganga. So that case also we have to, or the government has to encourage the people. Okay. One more thing, enforcing laws and using technology to help the industries to set up effluent treatment plants to treat waste before dumping it into the Ganges. So already I told you, so directly, instead of releasing the effluents or the waste directly into the Ganges, some of the technologies should be developed to treat these effluents. So this effluent should be treated and should be released into the Ganga water. So like this type of sewage treatment plants should be developed. Okay, sewage treatment plants should be developed, and setting up research and development units to work towards conserving the marine ecosystem of Ganges. Some of the research and development R&D units should be started, which can work towards conserving the marine ecosystem of the Ganges. Means the Ganga water, where it is mixing with the coming in contact with the marine ecosystem. So such areas also research and development unit should be built up. Okay, to do some research work on them. Now let's have a look at the progress because of all these Ganga action plan aims. So what happened and what done in this? So its progress was tracked into two phases. Phase 1 in 1985 followed by phase 2 in 1993. Means first phase started in the 1985, which was launched by Rajiv Gandhi, and second phase was started in 1993. So funding for this project rose from 350 to 1498.66 crores from phase 1 to phase 2. So funding increased at the same time. Development or the progress also definitely increased. So sewage tackled progress rose from 35% to 60%. Number of treatment plants rose from 35 to 63, and the quality of water was maintained over the two phases. Okay, so that is about Ganga action plan. Almost all the levels progress is in the increasing rate. So the funding also increased, effluent treatment plants also increased. Okay, so sewage tackled progress rose from 35% to 60%. Okay, so that is about Ganga action plan. So or the cleaner Ganga is, which is the one of the issues in the India, environmental issues in India, and how we tackled our government, how it formed the different environmental acts and rules and regulations, how we tackled with the situation or the issue is an example given in your syllabus. Okay, I hope you understood. Thank you.